Welcome to Red Planet Project. This is where our Martian adventure begins. If you're here for the first time, this is a channel where we break down the biggest questions about terraforming, the future, and what might await humanity beyond Earth. We don't make guides, we don't give answers. We search for them together with curiosity and perspective. And today's topic might change the course of history. Could Mars become an independent civilization? A colony that breaks ties with Earth, creates its own laws, its own system, and its own future. Every great story begins with a need for freedom. It was like that on Earth. It could be like that here. But Mars is not an empty world waiting for heroes. It will be a place of interests. Even now it's clear that not just nations, but corporations want to build something more than an outpost here. They want to build an empire. Not out of ideals, out of profit. Missions will be expensive, risky, and long, and someone will have to pay for them. And this is where the real game begins. Because who will truly own Mars? Who will decide what is allowed and what isn't? Maybe it won't be a president or a parliament. Maybe it will be a corporate board. A contract instead of a constitution. Numbers instead of principles. Those who end up on the surface of Mars won't be pioneers from science fiction stories. They'll be workers. Technicians, miners, engineers, people who will sacrifice health and life for a dream that may no longer be theirs. Mars won't forgive mistakes, and the system might not give a second chance. It's hard to talk about freedom here. It's more like a new version of what we already know, just more distant, more brutal, more soulless. And yet somewhere in all of this, there will be a human, and it is they who will decide what comes next. Maybe one day someone will write a Martian Declaration of Independence. Maybe a new flag will be born. Maybe someone will say, "We're from here, we are no longer citizens of Earth." And then the most important question will appear. Are we truly ready to be alone? In this episode, we'll try to find out. Because before Mars says yes, we first need to understand who will really rule up there. In every colony, there has to be some kind of authority. Someone who sets the rules. Someone who makes the decisions. Someone who says, "This is not allowed here." But Mars won't be a place where we build democracy from scratch. There will be no elections, no parties, no voice of the people. There will be structure. And that structure is already forming, quietly, without declarations. It's being built by those who have access to rockets, to oxygen, to data, to money. It's being built by those who have time to think in decades. Today, it's not countries that hold the cards. Today, it's companies that are planning the future of a planet that still belongs to no one. And that's exactly why they can act however they want. Without resistance, without questions, without the need to answer to anyone. These are not missions for humanity, these are investments. If you design something, you have control over it. And if you pay for the project, you own it. Mars won't belong to the people who live there. It will belong to those who organize everything before anyone even sets foot on its soil. Bases with no room for privacy. Schedules that can't be challenged. Systems where everything is a number, the amount of oxygen used, the number of hours slept, the value of a completed objective. There will be no room for "I disagree." No space for choice. Regulations will replace laws. Internal documents will replace constitutions. These will be colonies without a voice, and those who end up there will live in a world designed by people who will never leave Earth. A world that offers no space for rebellion, at least not now, maybe never. Because Mars will not be a world of ideas. It will be a world of action, a world of procedures, a world of locked doors. And this is the most uncomfortable question of this episode. Will Mars be programmed as a closed system from the very beginning? Will the first lines of code be written by those who think only in terms of return on investment? Because if that's the case, there's no need to talk about the future of Mars. It will already be known. The future will become a spreadsheet. And maybe that's exactly why no one dares to ask the question out loud. Who will really rule this planet? Because the answer isn't just uncomfortable, it's already happening. There won't be any selection like in the old movies, no live broadcast announcing the names of the chosen ones. This won't be a chance. It will be a contract. With a signature, with clauses, with risks. The first Martians won't be dreamers, they'll be specialists. People who know how to operate in extreme conditions. Without hesitation, without panic, This won't be their choice. They won't make decisions. They'll do what needs to be done, and everything else will be irrelevant. Every step they take will be planned. Each day will include only what is absolutely necessary. Work will become their whole world. Every breath, every minute, part of a procedure, and time will simply be a code in the system. There will be no space for moments of joy or sadness. The day will have no borders. Brief recovery, tests, reports, inspections, adjustments, sleep, and then again. No dates in the calendar, no moments that on Earth would be considered normal. Instead of a window, a screen showing the same shade of red. Instead of a sunset, light that never changes. On Mars, there will be no place for rest. Even a moment of distraction can kill. Every mistake, every uncertainty, noted and analyzed. And the system won't forget. Time will become a unit to be checked off. Every decision will be accepted or rejected in a second, without deliberation. The people who find themselves on the surface of Mars won't be heroes in the romantic sense. They'll be workers, executors of a plan, silent components of a greater system they will help build. They will be needed, but they won't decide anything. Their task will be to build the foundation of a new civilization. But freedom, true freedom, will not be their goal. The first Martians won't be defenders of new ideas. They'll be elements of machines, carrying out their role and fulfilling the plan. The machine will demand efficiency, control, reliability, and those who are inside it will have nothing. Only duties. On Mars there will be no room for error. Reliability will be the price they pay. But somewhere in this monotony, in the repeating routine, a human being will appear. A person who, despite everything, will have something machines never will, free will. And even if they don't change the system, even if they don't change Mars, they will still have a choice that allows for something more. And maybe, just maybe, that will be the moment when everything begins to change. The Red Planet won't be just a new territory to settle. It will be a battleground from the very beginning. A battle over who will gain control of the planet's resources, who will dominate its economy, and who will establish a new hierarchy. Even now we know this won't be a story about pioneers dreaming of a new world, but a realistic project created by corporations and states that will place their interests above all else. Corporations will dominate, controlling not only the processes of resource extraction, but also the people who arrive on the Red Planet. The first colonizers won't be heroes, but workers, executors of pre-planned tasks. Their lives will become part of a system where there is no space for romanticism. The Red Planet will become a place of exploitation, where every job is assigned a price. The first settlers won't be free. They won't decide their own fate. They will be elements of a machine whose goal is production and efficiency. The corporations that dominate the Martian market will treat people as a resource to be used, not as co-creators of a new civilization. They will buy, sell, invest, but they will not invest in the human being. The cost of this new civilization will be high, but it won't be a cost borne by those who profit from the planet. It will be the colonists who pay the highest price, and it won't be just the cost of life. It will be the cost of freedom, because the Red Planet will become a place where the system rules, where there's no room for individualism, where life becomes part of a plan, where the dreams that were supposed to lift humanity to a new orbit become part of the economy, and those who sign that contract will become elements of the system, just like the machines that will be used on the Red Planet to extract its resources. The first settlements on this distant planet won't be places of peace. Instead of pioneer zones, they'll become social laboratories, where the fight for survival in extreme conditions will go hand in hand with the fight for a social structure. Daily life won't be built on idealistic dreams, but on a system with no tolerance for mistakes. People arriving on Mars won't be building an idyllic world. They'll have to accept one fundamental truth: Mars will be a machine, and those who enter its mechanisms will have to obey its rules. There will be no room for individualism. Each of them will become part of a larger plan, used by Earth-based power players who will decide who gets access to resources and how much. In this new reality, the most important people will be those who control resources like water, air, or materials, essential for sustaining life on this alien planet. This won't be a society built on ideals. It will be a corporate community whose goal is productivity. The people who arrive on the red planet won't be heroes. They'll be laborers in a system that won't care about their freedom. Their lives will be assigned to roles planned out long before launch. Contrary to common imagination, not everyone will be there to build a new civilization. In reality, those who reach the surface will simply be parts of a machine, just elements of a system designed to extract value from whatever Mars has to offer. The entire structure will be subordinated to corporate interests, not human needs. Once the Martian system is fully operational, a simple question will begin to emerge. Who will really rule this planet? Who will control not only the resources, but also the people who will have to work under extreme conditions to keep that system running? The answer seems clear. Those who control the resources, those who know how to seize the market, those who will plan the economy of the red planet for decades to come. This won't be a story of a new beginning, but rather the creation of a new order, one that won't be democratic, but filled with corporate interests that will ultimately decide who has the right to live on this planet and who must submit. This won't be a revolution as we know it. It will be another form of exploitation, one with no space for individual freedom. And if the system collapses, who will be ready to rise in a Martian revolution, if not those forced to fight for survival? Before we move into the future, we have to ask ourselves one essential question. Will Mars truly become a new home, or just a repeat of what we already know from Earth? When we look at the grand visions of corporations and nations competing for the red planet, it seems that instead of building a new civilization, we'll just be expanding what we've already created. The miners, technicians, and engineers who make it to Mars won't be building freedom. They'll be building machines that allow those with money and control to achieve their goals. This will be a system with no room for weakness, only for productivity, and those who must do the work will be treated as a resource, not as equals. The red planet will become a second Earth, only without history, without a past, and without the same kind of personal freedom. Everyone who arrives there will become part of a system that may seem glorious at first, but will quickly become oppressive. So is a revolution on Mars possible? Maybe, but before that happens, humanity will have to face many challenges. And only those willing to make sacrifices will be able to rise and fight for a better future. Because Mars is not just a new civilization. It is a test of our humanity, of ourselves, and of what we're truly willing to sacrifice in order to survive. Thanks for being here with me. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next episodes of Red Planet Project. And drop a like if you want more content about Mars and terraforming. See you in the next episode.